Good evening and welcome. I'm confident, but of course YouTube's, as usual, telling me the stream is bad, but it's lying, I know it is. So if you are there, say hello to me. I can see the chat. Right now I can. So I'll say hello to you, and you can say hello to me. Hello. And now I've got myself in stereo, which is always alarming. But never mind. Turn me down, Mike, turn me down. I am coming through. I need a Ouija board, really, don't I? Anyway, if you're there, say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
We have got an action-packed show. Good evening, Carl. We're doing things slightly differently, different order, for a very good reason. We've got kit that needs configuring because we need to use it. So we're starting with that. Then we've got other toys. We have new software. We have new hardware. We have an unboxing. What else have we got? There was plenty. There was plenty, honestly. I haven't managed to... I've got pCloud set up, Carl, eventually. It didn't like Fuse. It got very annoyed with Fuse, but in the end, it sorted itself out. So I put a little bit of data up there as a backup, and I've left it like that so far. What I need to do is transfer the settings from something that are currently in Dropbox. That's the aim. That's the aim. But I haven't actually got round to doing that yet. As you'll see from all the other toys that we've been playing with, plus the fact we've had a week off. Do you remember that week's holiday? It's all of a blur. I know. And then you think, what did I do with that week's holiday? This is why people go to Benidorm for a week. Because then you remember.
You want to go to Benidorm?
No, but that's not the point. Absolutely not. So, what's everybody else been doing? Have you had unboxings? Carl's aware of my disastrous unboxing. Well, it was my nerve-wracking unboxing, but I've got that on a slide, so we'll keep that.
Oh, that one.
Yes, that one.
Upstairs.
Yes, that one. The one that you rescued. Right, now, can I see my chat on here? It's not very... It should be telling me I'm going live, but it's not. Oh, no. It's just not telling me I'm live.
You are live.
I know I'm live, but on here, I want to see the chat on my iPad, because when I go full screen with Keynote, I won't be able to see it, will I? Oh. Hey, Johnny I! Hello! We've got new toys that we're setting up. Configurable new toys. Oh, I should also mention, as has become a little bit of a tradition I could do without.
We're going to get something to eat.
No. Worse than that. Machine carped out.
Yeah.
Completely. 25 to 9. So I was literally just sitting here listening to some music. The music stopped. I thought, what's the matter with you? Then I moved the mouse, dead as a dodo. Whole thing clammed up. Didn't want to know.
He's back, though.
Well, obviously it's back. Well, if I tap on my channel, will you tell me I'm live? No, it's just not telling me.
But you are live.
I know I am, but I need to see it. What? Oh, hang on. Oh, there I am. It's all right, I've got myself now. That means I can see the chat when I'm full screen with Keynote. Actually, I'm not interested in the video. I wish it had just shown me the chat. What if I do that? Oh, then the chat comes up big at the bottom. That's handy. But
the chat comes up big.
The chat comes up big at the bottom on an iPad if you pivot it around. Excellent. Oh, we need to arrange the MacBites meet up with Team Trafford. We do. I don't know if Team Trafford are ready. Now we're out. Good evening, Graham. Good evening. We're talking about sexy toys. There's always sexy toys, isn't there? Yes, what I said was we're doing things a little bit differently tonight in a different order. Reason being, we're going to have to set up some kit for the rest of the session to make any sense at all. So we're going to be doing that first. Do you want to get the cable out of there? That's the one piece that's the jigsaw that's missing at the moment.
It's a bit critical.
And that is a bit critical. So we've got the 4 pieces of kit that are going to be needed to make the magic work. If you would like to hazard a guess as to what those 4 pieces of kit are, feel free. I shall look forward to this. They are 4 distinct but related pieces of kit. I think you're always safe if you say that one, aren't you?
Yes.
I think the other 3 maybe not, but that one. Yes. So I want some guesses. I want some guesses as to what we could be setting up early doors that we need. That involves 4 separate but related pieces of kit. Right, so let me get this lot going before all that goes even worse. Should I? I shouldn't. I know I won't bother. Right, so I'll do that one. But then, just because I need to demo that as well, I'll get ScreenFlow going as well. Really, really stress it out. Let's have you from in there as well. And, oh no, leave me be.
The Mac server reported the Adobe photo plan was going up to $19.99. How much is it now?
$9.99, I do believe. Show help. What are you doing? I don't want you to do that in the first place. Increase. Oh, you know Adobe, that's what they said they'd do. But
anyway, they got it wrong.
Don't tell me it's going up triple. I wouldn't be surprised. Are we talking the 2 shiny 27-inch electric windows? They're already configured. More on that later. I've lost ScreenFlow.
The fragile ones.
Yes, the fragile ones. Don't ruin the punchline. Right, I'm not trying to record anything else, am I?
No. So
why is it creating? I don't want to record the keyboard. Just continue. Ah, success. Right, I'll be able to show you the 4 items then. Is it Apple products? No, Jonathan, not a single one.
It's tech, though.
It is tech. It's tech of a specific kind, but it is tech. Right, I'm trying to get this camera so I can see all 4 pieces. There we go. It's upside down, but never mind that, hey. It could crash the machine. It could certainly crash my audio. There's a big clue. But let's get my screen shared with you before we go any further. All right, let's do that, and let's do that. And you should be seeing my screen. At which point I can get my keynote up and ready. And then we can get going. Right, you've done all your bits, Mike.
Is it pink?
Is it pink? No, it's not pink. Actually, only by choice is it. What on earth is going on here? Why has it done that? Now it's rebooted. Oh, for crying out loud. If you saw that, you can appreciate what's going on. Keynote's having a moment. Right, let's do that. And let's do that again. Where's that gone? Oh, let's play whack-a-mole with Keynote. Way! 3rd time lucky. You saw that working before. Yes. That's the problem with Apple. Every time you reboot, it rejigs the monitors. Anyway, you should now be seeing my screen. God, polished or what? Right.
Your screen.
Yeah, now you've got the right screen. Excellent. Right, fantastic. Okay, so massive clue. Audio setup. We're going to do something with audio live. It could only end brilliantly, couldn't it, Mike, eventually? Yeah. Right, then we've got some updates from MacBites headquarters. Quite a few, actually. Then we've got 2 new applications. Camtasia 2019. Interesting news from them. And DEVONthink 3. Who's downloaded DEVONthink 3 and given that a run for its money? Alarming news from them, to be honest. But we'll come on to that. Then we have an unboxing, or I hope we do, if we can find it. It's been one of those weeks. What can I say? It's been one of those 10 days, actually. Right, Mike, is there anything in the chat after Is It Pink?
No.
Good, because that's the last thing I can see. So, right, let's go in and have a look at it. If you remember last time, we had a massive unboxing session. And we had a Zoom H6, which looks like that. Well, we've been playing around with it, and we came up with an idea. As you can just about make out from there, the way that thing works is, you'll remember I showed you different microphones on the top of it. So that one, there was 2 capsules that came with it. That's actually the one that's on mine right now. At the sides, you can also put in microphones. So the whole thing not only acts as a digital recorder, but it also can act as an audio interface. So it's dual purpose. So first of all, you could just stand there with it and you could record. Doesn't even need to be plugged in. As long as you've got batteries in it, you can just turn it on, as long as you've got a capsule on the top, and you can record. But of more significance, I had an idea. And we gave it a go with the H4. It was great. So we figured, let's set up the H6 to do that. But then we figured, oh, where's the fun in that if we don't do it live with Jeopardy and the MacBiters? So that's what we're heading off to do. So let's get the screen sorted for that. For that to work, you need to see, where have we gone? Mouse, mouse, mouse. Yay! 4 pieces of equipment. Right, we have the H6. There's the H6. We have little dinky stand. And we have the microphone, one of the 6 that arrived last time. And the cable. You'll notice that cable is a very long cable. It's going right the way across the room. That's why it's that long. But what I wanted to show you first was, let's get those bits out of the way and let's focus on this bit. When you turn this on, you'll notice that there's no cables. There's nothing attached to that at the moment at all. So I'll turn it on. There we go. Little screen at the bottom will light up. I will move it round so we can read it. And there it is. So at that moment, it's acting as a recorder. So I'm going to try and let it focus on that. Come on, have a focus. Focus on my finger. It's about as good as it's going to get. Right, across here, you have 5 inputs. You have the left, right, which if I push on that, you see it lights up. That's going to record from up here. So at the bottom, you can just about, if I actually shout, let's try and get that focused a bit more. You're actually going out of focus. See that moving at the bottom? That's me talking. So that's how that one's working. Now, next to it, you can see that there are 4 other meters. And those 4 meters relate to these ports here. 4, 3, and on the other side, 2 and 1. And that's what we're going to be using. But at the moment, that's just acting as a digital recorder. So you turn on whatever you want it to record from. And you can actually turn all 6 on if you want, which would be excessive, wouldn't it? But we're going to be using number 1 when we use it. But right now, if we just turn on the one at the top and we press record, it will start recording. And in that mode, it's just a digital recorder. It's got rechargeable batteries in it, and it's just recording the audio. Now, interestingly, this one, which the H4 doesn't, at the top, you can use this to change the pickup. So if I turn that round, so it's actually facing me, and you can still see the meter at the bottom, see the meter moving. As I turn this to increase it, you can see it going into the red. When those lights flash, it's in the red and you need to turn it down a little bit. So that's it recording as just a digital recorder. But we don't want to do that. That's far too simple. No. So I'm stopping that. And I'm actually going to turn it off. So at the side, there is an on-off button. I push it down, and that's going to turn it off. And it's gone away, and you can just about see me there. Oh, we don't want to see me. Right, so there it is. I need to plug in a couple of items now. I shall start with 1, which is this one. Oh, does that make it 5? That's a USB cable, and that is attached to my Mac. And I am plugging it in at the side, so just to show you what's on that side there. Let's get a bit of light on it. The 2 buttons are the menu, and I whip through it there, but this one at the bottom is the USB port. And as I plug that in, nothing will happen because it's not turned on. But if I move this down and then do turn it on, we should get a series of questions, and I will try and make it so you can actually read them. Right, can you see that one? Not very well. Let me move it. Get a different light on it. Oh, nearly. I saw text. Let me turn that light off. Let me see if it needs to be darker. Right, can we see it now? Or I'm just going to have to read it out, and that just wouldn't be the same. I saw text just flit by before. It's red. No. Oh, I'm going to have to show you. I'm going to have to read it. It says SD card reader or audio interface. And what I'm going to do is use that button to move down. So it says audio interface. Let me lift it up a bit and see if it's further away. Would it be happier? The light isn't going to make any difference, Mike. This thing's just too bright. Do try, though. Feel free. Before I press anything else, let's feel free. Oh, it's a little bit better. You can see a little red line, but you still can't read it. Oh, hang on. Oh, look, you can just see audio interface. My word. Can she hold it steady like that? And if I move up, that one says SD card reader. So I want to move it down there and then push it in. The next thing it says is stereo mix or multitrack. And we went for multitrack, didn't we? Yeah, because it got upset. And then the next one just says, do you want to use power? And yes, I do. At which point, it takes us back to what looks like the same view as before, but it's not. Because that text, just under the word Zoom, says USB audio interface. So now it's in an audio interface mode. This is important. This is important because, let me show you my screen. Yes, you will see my screen, but it looks complicated. Let's take you up and show you my screen. Right, what's going on at the top there is audio hijack. So all of that, you can see the top one bouncing. That's my audio at the moment. What we want is the audio at the bottom. We need to hook it up for Mike, and we're going to do that through the H6. That's the plan. Let's see how that goes. So back down to our toys. I need the microphone and a stand. So here's the stand and there's the microphone. So that's the easy bit. Right. Next bit. So that's what that looks like right now. There it is. So now all we need to do is to get that cabled up, which would be this massive cable here. It's 10 metres. We decided to go for 10 metres in case we wanted to sling it round the room, basically, or if we needed to go out of the room. And if that sounds odd, it's happened. Somebody double booked himself with a MacBites event. I won't say who, but it wasn't MacBites, Siri. Right, so I am opening the cable. Why is this so difficult? No, it's Velcro cable tie. Only it's wrapped around the paper, so it's tricky. I can't be beaten by a Velcro cable tie, for crying out loud. Right. Right, there's the cable tie. Let's lose that. And here's the cable, so let's get that out. We've gone for bright yellow so we can see it on the floor, because normally I'd go for black, but one of us is going to break our neck on it. Or both of us. So, I need both ends at the minute, don't I? Right, but I definitely need this end. This end, that one there, is going to go into the microphone. If this works, it's going to be miraculous. Right, so let's get that in there. Okay, that was a nice healthy click. And the microphone's turned on. So that's now going to head over to Mike's desk. Away you go. And there's plenty of cable, so take it all with you. And leave me with the other end, which is... I've lost the other end. No, you're not even hooked up yet, so don't get excited. You're not plugged in yet. Right, this end is the bit that is going to go into the recorder. Do we have enough cable? We have plenty of cable, Mike. I'm not going to move my chair. Right, so that just needs to go in there. So, nice little click when it goes in. Right, at that point, I can see it moving. So do you now want to Mary Had a Little Lamb, Mike?
Mary had a little lamb.
Oh, marvellous.
His fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
Right, I don't know about your levels. Give it another go.
Welcome to MacBites After Hours 0022.
Hey! Right, that sounded okay. Can you guys let me know how that sounds level-wise? I just hate Keynote, Jonathan. It does weird things to me all the time. Not impressed with it. I wish I had more control over what screens it used, but there is a trick.
That sounds like I'm, what do they call it?
Peeking.
Peeking.
Peeking dog.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'll turn you down a bit.
It could be me being too near the mic.
Yeah, yes, it could be.
Should we try it again?
If you like, where you go.
MacBites After Hours 22, 3rd of May 2019. A live episode of the MacBites podcast. That
looks mighty low on mine, but it might look less low on yours. Oh, I know why. Naughty me, naughty me. Right, what I've done is I had you on 2 times.
That's too low.
We'll be right yet.
I can send Jonathan to sleep.
Oh, is that good? Right, let me have a look what that's saying. Need my glasses on. You're about at 5, I think. So, oh, there you go. You should do Audible books, Mike. Perfect voice.
Somebody's got a better voice than me.
Let's not go into that now. No. Right, so you do another intro and let me try and get this right.
Join us live on the 3rd of May 2019 at 9 p.m. BST for more geekery and fun with the MacBites crew.
Right, now listen back to yourself. How do you sound?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, you'll have to wait 30 seconds then, won't you? Welcome to my world. I time shift. Right, so that's what it looks like all hooked
That's better. That's perfect.
I'm good, you know. I'm audio engineering you. There's my Velcro.
I'm good too.
You are good.
Yes, I'm the right distance from the microphone.
Perfect. Leave it alone while it's working. Leave it alone. Now, I don't know if I'm going...
What's Jonathan talking about?
No idea. What's going on?
Tell me trick at some point.
Yes, this is the trick with Keynote. There's a trick to controlling Keynote.
Smack it.
Well, I've tried that. That doesn't work either. I went and did a presentation, Jonathan. I was TAing for somebody, technical assisting. And they were... What's the word I'm looking for, Mike? IT challenged. Numpty.
I was going to say
Muppet.
Boring.
Muppet. Well, that as well. Muppet. And I was fine till I got there and then thought, oh my God, she's put the notes in, I think it was PowerPoint she was using, but the same principle, and wanted me to control the screen. So I had the computer. So how was she going to read the notes? We needed another screen. And it was all handled alarmingly well. So yes, right, Mike, make a note. Put that in for next week. So, there's
is this live?
Yes, of course it's live.
Right.
Yes.
I can talk.
You can talk.
I can chip in.
You can be the chipper inner.
I'm the chipper inner.
He's the chipper inner, and he's
the
live.
chipper inner.
I, of course, have complete power here, so I can turn him off.
So I could be talking and nobody could hear me.
Well, you were before.
Yes, but if you turn me off.
Yes, I could turn you off. Did I turn you off? No, I mustn't do that. That would be very naughty. Anyway, I'll show you now what the screen looks like with Mike talking. So turning it round, going up there. Right, Mike's the one at the bottom. I'm the one at the top. So say hello, Mike.
Hello, and welcome to MacBites After Hours 22.
Right, that all worked, didn't it?
That sounded like it worked.
Alarmingly well. We like that. We like that. So what I'll be doing is I'll just leave that audio interface thing.
I could do anything now.
You could, but then I'll turn you off. So behave yourself.
I could sing.
Oh, God. Please don't. So what I'll do is that'll just sit on the desk. 2 cables, the yellow one to the microphone. Move that back. Yellow one to the microphone. And this one as a USB interface. And we're sorted. Now, you could do that with a dedicated audio interface, obviously. The thing with that is you'd probably be paying more for that than you would that digital recorder. And, of course, the digital recorder can work mobile. So that was the benefit of it. Now you've seen it set up. That went alarmingly well. Yeah, because when we tried that in rehearsals, the whole machine died a death. But let's get back in.
You seen that comment from Carl?
Which one's that? Now, actually, Carl, it's funny you should mention that, because when we tested it with the H4, Mike did it, and I listened back, and I thought, well, it sounds like Mike-ish, but he sounds like he's 12. So I said to Mike, listen to this. So he listened to it and he went, I sound a bit young. I said, yes, I'm wondering what's wrong with it myself. So I had a go.
Choir boy days.
Yes, and I sounded exactly the same. And I thought, what's going on? Anyway, we found a setting. It wasn't the Kermit the Frog setting, but it might as well have been. So yeah, we did all of that. But this one didn't need any changing. Not for that. It might do when it comes off, when it's not been an audio interface, it's just been a digital recorder with a microphone plugged in, it might need a little bit of changing. Right, so last time, do you remember the unboxings we did? Of course you do. This is what MacBites headquarters looked like the morning after, because that night we didn't bother tidying up. So you can see it's daylight, you can see the light coming, flooding through the windows. And that was what my desk looked like. And if you think that was bad, that was the floor. Oh, the pain I put myself through for you guys. You'll notice there's a paper there as well. I never read a paper. I must have bought it because there was something in it. So yes, my desk looked fabulous. It actually took me about 3 days to tidy up that lot because obviously it needed to go where it needed to live. And there's things on there like desks and cups, glasses, money, all kinds of things, and my AirPods. So yes, it was a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous do. And that was what it looked like the morning after. Right, where am I going here? Oh, what now? Oh, yes. Now, some of you will know about this because I put it on Facebook. But if you don't follow me on Facebook, you won't have a clue. It was a shopping with Elaine moment. It all went brilliantly. Found out what I've always wanted is a 3-monitor setup where the monitors are the same size. Saw this many, many moons ago. Let me know in the chat if you heard it too, if you saw it. It was, what's his name? Al Gore. And it was back in the days of the 30-inch cinema displays. And he had 3 of them attached to a Mac Pro. And I just looked and I thought, that's my dream setup. Then, of course, the Mac Pro got a little bit long in the tooth. And I ended up with an iMac that could take an external monitor. So I put one on it. Fabulous. Then I got another iMac and the new iMac could take 2. So at that point, I got 2 extra monitors. I think they were about 23 inches. Then I updated to 24 inches. And it's been like that since 2011. Well, I just happened to be, as you do, meandering around Amazon. And I found some 27-inch monitors. And they look rather nice because they've got very, very, very thin bezel. In fact, they call them bezel-less, which pretty much they are. Price, amazing, £131. I thought, I'll have a couple of those. So I did. So, went to Amazon, ordered them, told them, next day delivery, everything was fine. Not a problem, just send me 2 monitors. Send them to me. Carl knows what's coming. This was how they arrived the next day. Yes, unceremoniously dumped over a 6-foot fence and dropped onto concrete. You can even see at the bottom that kind of shadowy bit, which was where I think it hit the concrete. I wasn't pleased. I mean, it does say fragile on it. He even left a little note in the door that said, "Parcel too big, leftover fence." Yeah, what he meant was thrown over the fence. And by then we'd already found it. Wasn't pleased. Anyway, the good news was, once I'd extracted what was in that box was 2 other boxes, which had polystyrene around the monitors, and then there was packing inside it, like scrunched up paper. No harm done. No monitors were upset or disturbed in the slightest due to their rather unhealthy arrival. And that's what my desk looks like now. So finally, I have my 3 27-inch monitors. They are all running at 2560 by 1440. Obviously, the iMac in the middle is Retina. The other 2 are not Retina. But love it. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. It's amazing the difference it makes. I did have my 24 inches running at 2560 by 1440. And the reason that I did that, and if you're wondering how I did that, there's a trick to that. There's an app for that. I've pushed all the monitors that I have to the very highest reses that they say they don't support. But if you have the right software, even the cheapest, most horrible monitor can be pushed further than they would recommend. And I've always found it works, and it works great. So I thought we'd do a bit of a tour. Desk's not too bad. Let's go and have a look at it. You've already seen bits of it, haven't you? So let's get this up. And so at the moment you're looking, no, you're not seeing anything at the moment, are you? You are going to need to see that. Right. So we'll get that up. We'll take it this way. And we'll start with that one and pull it back. There you go. So if you look at the bezel is incredibly skinny. Much skinnier than the iMac. There you go, Johnny. Something to think about for next time. So that's that one over there. Then there's the iMac in the middle, obviously. And there's the far one, and that's Wirecast. And my ring light that I've turned off. But my ring light is there as well. Oh, and my, let me just move this cable. These cables have got tangled again, Mike. It's actually taken... No, it's all right. I've sorted it now. Right, there's my iPads. All my iPads. And my headphones, if you can see those in the distance. So that's the latest tour of my desk with my new monitors. And Carl was so taken, Carl wanted to know which ones they were. So I'm assuming Carl is in the market. Have you partaken yet, Carl? There they are, and they're beautiful. Absolutely love them. One thing I will say is that you will need to know... Let's put that down there. And... let me get them. Oh, that's not good, is it? There you go. Get yourself sorted. Right. One thing I will say. Let me get Chrome up. Let me get...
I'll order the 24-inch.
Oh, nice. I think Graham said he'd need an extension for anything bigger. Right. Let me try Amazon AOC 27-inch monitor. Let's see what it comes up with. It'll probably know I've bought about heaven knows how many. That's not the one. That's not the one either. Where are you? It's the H something. Oh, are they out of stock? Oh, you can't be. Don't be silly. Where's the right number? Oh, don't make me go and look. Seriously, don't. It was a B something. A B. Was it a BH? B. That's the one. Oh dear, the price has gone up. Oh dear. Mind you, well, no, that's not the right one, not the top one. It's this one here. 150 now. I paid 131. I would say, looking at that, they're out of stock. But when they come back in stock, they might only be 131. You never know. But that was the one. That was the one. There you go. See, purchased. And yeah, that's not been supplied from AOC via Amazon. But the principle's there, isn't it? That's the one it was. Now, if you're wondering how I force it, it's an app called Resolutionator. Now, it's running, or it should be. It was running. Right, there's Resolutionator. What that allows you to do is you can see the iMac. The one in blue is what it's running at. And it's running at 2560 by 1440. But it would let me change... No, you're not actually. You're running at 1600 by 900. I think the blue one must be the native resolution, but at the moment I'm running it at 1600 by 900 for broadcasting. But you can send it up to silly proportions, including the ones with a gesture on, and it actually says silly resolutions. So I could set it to any of these. What that would look like, you might not want to work with it, but for testing purposes, if you wanted to see what your design work would look like on a different monitor, then it's great. But here's the power of it. You can see it says iMac at the top. If I move back, you can see, and I'm using arrow keys to do that, you can see it's saying my display on the left and my display on the right. So if we go to the left one first, it is running at that. And those are the other options that are available to it. So I could even take this up to ludicrous proportions. But if you keep it fairly sensible, so I just want it to be the same resolution as my iMac, it's not that bad. It really isn't. I wouldn't say it goes fuzzy or anything like that. And that's what I've always done. I did that with the 23-inch, I've done it with a 24-inch, and I'm now doing it with a 27-inch. And to me, that Resolutionator worth every penny. Absolutely every penny. Now, other thing with monitors, or something else I was going to say. Yes, when it arrived, we thought, well, right, what we'll do is we'll just use the cables that were already there, which were VGA cables. That wasn't the best idea I've ever had. When I went to my website, and I'm assuming you've seen my website, but if you've not seen my website, I will show you my website. It's a sort of brownish colour. So this colour at the top that we're talking about, and here in the middle. So the colour that you're seeing that now, and I can see the colour you're seeing that, it's sort of, it does have a hint of purple in it, but it's ever so subtle, and it's not purple. Because if you look at the D at the top where it says Enable Visual Builder, that's purple, and that is not the same as this kind of brownish colour. So I turned the new monitor on, opened up my website, and I was horrified. It was purple. And there was no persuading it otherwise. I went through all of the contrasts, the brightness, you name it. I tried it, I recalibrated it, the whole works. Nothing worked. It was still purple. So I said to Mike, well, what I need to do is open the second one and see if it's the same, because obviously the way it was delivered, could it be damaged? Opened up the second one. No, actually, I didn't even get to open up the second one. What I said to him was, do you know what? I'm just going to try a HDMI cable. Just on the off chance. Plugged in the HDMI cable, absolutely perfect. The whole thing, perfect. So I thought, right, okay. So then I needed to get some extra, not only extra cables, but I needed different adapters as well. So what I went for, let me show you. That's me reaching across for them. I should also point out, I never pay for the Apple adapters. No, not ridiculous like that. The ones that were in there were Orky. Let me show you that. So that's what I was using, that Orky connector. And I deliberately went for that one. It only had, you can get these with both on, but I only went for the VGA one. And at the other end, it's, I don't know, these are USB-C Thunderbolt compatible, blah, blah, blah. Now, of course, they were about £6 and are now completely redundant. So the one I went for was, again, I won't pay Apple prices. I am not paying £40-odd for stuff like this. This one was £6. This is one I haven't installed yet. But it's exactly similar kind of, well, exactly the same thing. The difference is it's HDMI. And now I also had a different option. So it's USB-C HDMI there. Move that across so you can see it. I did have a different option. And my other option was to go for a cable. Go for a cable that had a HDMI port like that on one end and that cable on the other. And that way, I'd only need one item. I'd only need the cable. I wouldn't need this adapter full stop. Now, the price of the cable and the adapter together were probably similar to the price of the cable. So I had a good old think about it and thought, there'll be a reason to go one way rather than the other. And I thought, well, if I buy a cable, I'm stuck with the length of it. Whereas if I buy an adapter, this would work on my iPad, it would work on my MacBook Air, I could take it out with me, and I could use different cables. And if you remember last week, or the week before, I'd bought a 10-metre HDMI cable. So I thought, no, what I need is an adapter. So I went for the adapter. And when I plugged that in, my website was the right colour. Absolutely the right colour. So if you've got a monitor and you have plugged it in to VGA, but it does support HDMI, give it a try. I was blown away by the difference. And I thought back and thought, well, why didn't you go HDMI? And I thought, because I got the VGA cables and thought, well, I'll just stick with those. Literally, just because of the kit I had. But it did make a difference with these monitors. So I'm thinking it might make a difference with other monitors. And if it does, you will get much better performance out of it. So, Carl, when your monitor arrives, let me know. Hello, sweetie. Good to have you with us. Let's have a look. Oh, that's a bargain, Carl. £77. I just wanted them to match the middle one. So I went crazy. What can I say? I was on holiday, and we don't do holidays. So we just treat ourselves. Right, another update. Carl is a genius. Can I just say that? We discussed pCloud in relation to the debacle that Dropbox has become. And it seems to be, now Carl mentioned security, but when you look online on the forums and what people have got to say, I was amazed. I couldn't find one negative comment about it. And, you know, people can't help themselves. They have to be negative. So I thought, well, I would give that a go. And what I looked at, there were prices. There were two options for the lifetime deal, which was, they weren't these prices. I talked about the one at £320. But Carl sent us a deal. Carl found a deal. It was a one-day offer. I sent it through and said it's reduced today. And it went down from 320 to 224. And that's pounds, not dollars. For the lifetime premium plus 2 terabyte thing. So Mike and I were like, wow, because I would have paid 320, I just hadn't got around to it. My procrastination paid off for once, didn't it? So we both took the plunge and we've done it. So we've both got the lifetime deal for 2 terabytes. I haven't actually decided in what way I'm going to deploy it in relation to the rest of my storage yet, but it's there when I do.
So, I'm the same.
And Mike was the same. He got it as well and was like, I'll have a think about that. Because we both got OneDrive storage, but OneDrive's got a mind of its own. Don't ever try sharing anything on OneDrive. Dropbox, I'm going to have to stop using. I can't be dancing around with 3 activations. That's just not going to work. Google Drive is more expensive for us because we've got G Suite accounts. So I'd have to pay double for the storage. So that'll pay for itself. I've just got to work out how I'm actually going to use it. Now, I mentioned in pre-show, one problem I had was installing it. We both went for the client where so it's basically like Dropbox. You've got the client installed. Let me show you that. What did I just do then? Yes, it shouldn't have been that, should it? That was better. We both put the client installed, which means, let's get that up, that we have a pCloud drive over here. So it behaves as if that storage space is local to your machine. In the same way, you'll notice here that my OneDrive does. OneDrive. That's my S3. So I have MacBites on S3. So they look the same. They look identical to how other cloud storage works. That my drive is my Google Drive. And to do that, these bottom two, OneDrive, now there is a OneDrive client, I don't use it. And S3, to get S3 mounted, I use Cloud Mounter. Cloud Mounter is available from up here. It's a tiny little app. Don't freak out. I think it's subscription now. It wasn't when I got it. So what I've got there, I make virtual drives and then mount them. But what this one does is it's got its own client. And the benefit of it having its own client is, if I stretch that out, that's not actually showing me that at the moment, which is concerning me. That's interesting. I should be seeing little green things telling me that they're in the cloud or whatever. So I'm thinking, looking at that crash that happened before I went live has disturbed it. So I'll go in and have a look at that and sort it out. But basically, I'm showing you that storage is now mounted and it's saying you've got 2 terabytes available. So it may as well be local storage. You can mark stuff for offline usage if you want, or you can just keep it in the cloud and pull it down on demand. So I've got another 2 terabytes is the upshot of that story. So thank you very much, Carl. That was much appreciated. That mail came through and I said to Mike, oh, have you just seen that mail from Carl? And Mike went, I'm looking at it right now. I'm actually on pCloud. I'm looking at it right now. So we did the deed with that one. Right, so first new toy of the week. Camtasia. Now, we talked about Camtasia on After Hours 116. 16. 116, I'm getting ambitious. After Hours 16. And that was in relation to a question somebody asked why we switched to Camtasia. Because for 11, 12 years, I'd used ScreenFlow. We both did, and we both switched. And the reasons that we came up with, there were more than that, but those to me were the I've spelt stitching wrong, haven't I, Mike? I need shooting. And it didn't mark it as a misspelling. Thanks, Keynote. Brilliant. But those were the 7 reasons that, to me, ScreenFlow doesn't do. Now, you can tell me ScreenFlow's got a library, and as I said at the time, yeah, that it might have, but not all libraries are the same. And Camtasia libraries were way better. The freeze region was what enabled us to edit video and cover up mistakes, cover up messages, anything you don't want the viewer to see. The extend frame is another way to repair video by cutting things out and then filling it in with a still image. The stitching, if I could spell it, was where you cut out a part of the video and the 2 pieces you were left with glued themselves together so you could treat them as an individual piece, one piece. The grouping worked far better than nesting did. Now, PDF transparency. I said that, you know I did, you heard me, and I said that's so important. You can put PDFs in ScreenFlow, but it doesn't support transparency, and that was giving me a major headache. So that I definitely mentioned. That was one of the reasons. I remember actually saying to Mike, as I dragged and dropped a PDF in it, and it was transparent, and it supported the transparency, I said, right, that's it, I'm moving. Because that was huge to me. The shift and slide was where you can make space on the timeline. And I actually needed to do that for Mike about 10 days ago. So those were the reasons that we moved. And Mike put in an extra one, which was it's cross-platform and ScreenFlow isn't. Well, Camtasia 2019 is out. So I get an email from them. Do bear in mind here that it's only 10 months since Camtasia 2018 was released. At which point the proverbial usually hits the fan because it needs paying for. An upgrade, the actual price of the app is at over £250 and an upgrade is £99. So I get this email that proudly announces Camtasia 2019's out. And obviously they're thrilled about it. And my first reaction is, oh, I'm going to need to pay for that. But no, I got a mail that said it's free for you because you're under maintenance. And I thought, you're right, there was that maintenance contract thing. And I went for it. So that's the mail from last year when I got the maintenance contract. I'm really pleased I went for that now. My rationale at the time was I think I took the trial, which bought me probably about 3 weeks before I actually bought it. And when I bought it, you can see there, expiry date, 21st of June this year. My hope was that, I'd be covered for at least one release. But I said to Mike, do you remember how much that maintenance thing was? He said, no, not a clue. So I went and found that as well. I actually paid £72 for the upgrade. Now, it says version 18, but it means 2018. And that maintenance was £36.07, and then there was VAT on top of that. So I think the full price of the maintenance is about £49. But the rationale of it is that once you've got the maintenance, you would never need to pay the $99 for a new version. So as long as they bring out a new version every year, that's not a bad deal. They've already said they're bringing out another one next year. So what will probably happen on the 21st of June is they'll be telling me I need to renew my maintenance. And I'll probably do it because I've already saved money because I've got the new version. I didn't need to pay for it. So good news was I could just download it and start playing with it. But what are the new features and why do you care? Well, the first one that they're trumpeting is automatic audio leveling. Now, that's actually really useful. It's more useful if you've got different people speaking or if it's talking head that you've recorded at different spots. Now, obviously, Mike and I have been doing this professionally for the best part of 25 years. Our audio is always the same level. Wouldn't dare not be, because of our audio setup. But for just doing a recording, or maybe you've got a piece that needs to be put in it from somebody else, that's a very useful, very cool feature. So it will give you, if you've recorded with 2 different microphones, it will level them out. So very handy, that one, very handy. The next one doesn't sound handy in the slightest. Editable keyboard shortcuts, like we're all bothered. Again, more useful than you would imagine. Now, I had a conversation with their development team, conference call. And basically, they wanted to ask a few questions, they said. They were looking for volunteers. So I volunteered. And I got on, and they asked the first question. And the rest of the time was me telling them where they were going wrong. Mike sat here and listened to that one. And when I came off it, he said, oh my God, those poor people.
No change there then.
No, but I did mention that editable keyboard shortcuts are incredibly important, one for accessibility purposes, but also something that they hadn't considered, which was when I was working in OneNote and I want to make something a heading 1, I use Command Option and 1. And when I want to make something a heading 2, Command Option and 2. Command Option and 2 starts and stops the recorder in Camtasia, which makes trying to record a video of using OneNote a bit of a hit and miss affair. So I explained that to them and I said, actually, I just want to take away the shortcut. I'm going to use the icon. I don't ever want a shortcut for that. I can appreciate that you think I might, and it would be very cool, and it would enable me to start and stop the recording with no visual clue I was doing it. I said, but that's the whole point. When I've done something in OneNote, the first I know that my video stopped is when I've carried on for about 30 seconds probably. And then the recording flashes up as though, right, finished. And I'm like, you swine. So I explained that to them and they've put that in. Not only have they put that in for just the recorder, but they've grouped them on the left-hand side into functions of the program. And then on the right-hand side, shortcuts that appertain to that function group. Not only can you change them, you can delete them. So I went in and deleted the ones for the recorder. They are gone. They are history. When I start the recorder, it will carry on recording until I tell it to stop. That for me is huge. It's probably not that huge for many others. I always try whenever I use a program to use the built-in shortcuts in case I ever have to train it. If I've gone in and edited all the shortcuts, I'd never be able to train anybody else. But for things like disabling something, that's critical. So that's a huge thing. Doesn't sound it, but it is. They've also allowed you to put logos in themes. Now, themes, if you can remember, were colours. They were groupings of colours. You could have 5 of them and 2 fonts. And it enabled you to create a consistency across your annotations. But they also allow you to download from their asset library pre-recorded, pre-configured clips of video. And some of those have a logo in. And now you can specify your logo in the theme. And when you download those, their logo will be removed and it will be replaced with your logo from your theme. So again, quite important, that one. Then, batch export. Now, I definitely remember mentioning batch export. My beef was it's already in Windows. And it's been there for a long time. And we mentioned, Mike talked about this, our logic was what we'll do is we'll create everything on a Mac and then we'll take it over to Windows and we'll batch process it from there. And that didn't end well because certain audio files aren't supported and certain other things aren't supported. So nightmare. But now it's been added to the Mac version. All you need to do is pick a project, pick a destination folder, choose the file format, and then any options that you want and click start and away it goes. So if I've recorded 10 5-minute videos in a day, I can edit the lot and then let it process them overnight. That will be a time saver. I'll go that far. It's not life-changing, but a time saver. Now, do you remember I mentioned PDFs and transparency? Yeah, in the last version, and it was there in the version before that. I already knew that, but I don't think TechSmith knew how significant it was. So in my discussion with them, for which read me talking and them listening, I said that, you've got this feature and it's amazing. And I explained why it was important. And it's important because PDFs are vector. So if I put my logo transparent, PDF, it's a vector. I can scale it up, I can scale it down, and I don't lose any quality. Well, guess what? With Camtasia 2019, they are trumpeting it as a new feature. It's not a new feature, it did it last time. But I am going to take all the credit for pointing that out to them. I don't know, actually, if they knew it supported it. Once they'd had it pointed out to them, that might have been like, oh, that's cool. But I think it was pointing out why it was so useful that did it. They have also added more assets. Now, TechSmith assets, they call them TSA, TechSmith assets. You have some included in Camtasia at the point of purchase, but you can also download extra ones. But it's a subscription thing, and it's exorbitantly expensive. I also told them about that. And I pointed out that ScreenFlows were less than $100. They've not done anything about that yet, but they could be pondering it. I said, what could persuade you into buying the assets? And I said, if they were cheaper. Because ScreenFlows is cheaper. It's as simple as that. But what they've done is, you can see there that there's a free badge on quite a few of those. These are device frames that you can wrap around content that you've recorded, just to display it differently at the point of export. And there are a lot more free than there used to be. But you have to know how to go get them and install them. And that's one of the demos I'll be showing you. The other thing was one of these features, and I actually said to Mike, and I showed it to him about an hour ago. You know when they say there's this new feature, and you go, right, what is it? And you read the title and you go, yeah, that's not going to work. Well, what mouse cursor smoothing does is, when you're recording a tutorial, one of the nightmares is you've got to try and keep that mouse still. That's pretty easy. But then you've got to move across to where you need to be, and you need to do it in a not distracting kind of way. Now, doubtless all of you have seen tutorials where somebody's saying, and then you click that button and they whiz their mouse pointer around the button. Have you seen that, Mike? Mm-hmm. When we started, it was nigh on impossible not to do that, but we had to train ourselves not to do that. But sometimes the mouse has got a mind of its own. I recorded a whole series of videos on Pixelmator. Your chair's creaking again. Don't do that. And when I started editing them, the mouse pointer hadn't been recorded. The air was blue that day, I can assure you. And what I decided to do was, it was erratic. Sometimes it was there, and then I'm showing something else and it wasn't there. And I thought, is there any way I can salvage any of these videos? And there was one, and I thought, that's not bad, apart from the fact that the mouse pointer's disappeared at that point. And I manually put the mouse pointer in, and I manually put a motion track, and I had the mouse pointer going along this track. It's horrible. So the thought of trying to fix the mouse pointer in post, while it can be done, it's a horrible, horrible, horrible job. So I saw the title and thought, really fancy that, but it'll never work. Well, that's one of the demos as well. I shall let you make your own mind up. Now, as ever, Camtasia's already running. It's recording. We want proof of that. It's that icon at the top. Now, I can take that, actually, and show you one more thing. Because we like one more thing, don't we? Right, I am dragging onto my desktop a shortcut. And there is my shortcut. Nothing worse when you're doing a demo than having stuff on your desktop and having to hide it. Now, I'm fine. I can do that like that. I've been doing that for years. It's a shortcut, and I use Command Option Control equals. Now, that won't work for you. You need to do something with it, and I can't remember what I did. I've no idea what I've hooked into to hide those desktop icons. I've been doing it that long. It could be Alfred. I have no idea. I think Alfred will let you do it. Keyboard Maestro will let you do it. I have no idea. But that's what I do. But if you haven't got that, and you haven't got an app to hide it, like, oh, I know what it could be. It could be Desktop Curtain. Yes, it'll be Desktop Curtain I've hooked into. That's an app. Let's show you. Desktop Curtain. That is an app which lets you choose an alternative wallpaper. Now, obviously for me, it's not an alternative wallpaper. It's the same wallpaper as the one I've got. It's just a colour of blue. But it could be an image, curtains, system defaults, whatever you want it to be. And all you do, if I go into here, there's my shortcut. So that's how I'm hooking into it. Command Option Control equals, and that just toggles on and off a curtain that covers up everything that's on the desktop. But that's a paid for toy, and if you only need to do it once or twice, in this recorder, if I click on that, one of the options is to hide the desktop icons. And it does exactly what I can do. But it's a nice addition. It's nice. I don't use it, but it's nice. Right, so Camtasia is already running. What I need to do is to show you those two things, isn't it? Which means I could do with a new file. If this won't do this, I am so much in trouble. Oh, hang on. There we go. Camtasia. Let's have a new project. This could prove to be too much for the system, but we're going to try it anyway. Right, so what was the first thing I was going to show you? Oh, the device frames. That's what I was going to do. Right, so to do that, we need some kind of recording. So I will... now, can I record if I'm already recording? That's an interesting one, isn't it? I doubt I can. I should have thought of that. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this one, which was one I recorded earlier. It's a bit of a mess, but never mind. It was some stuff that I was putting in, and I was just looking at some images. Not to worry about that. Let me go over to there, because it's a device frame. So actually, no, let's there's the video. I recorded that earlier today. It is just a scrappy little video, just to test something. And it's taking up the whole screen at the moment. And one of the things that you can do is you can go into visual effects and you can choose device frame. And all of your visual effects you do by dragging it onto the timeline or the canvas. Once you've added that effect, you can see that the video, my video, has been fitted to that screen. That's what a device frame is. Over in the properties, you can then choose which device. Now, it won't look great on a Google Pixel because it wasn't recorded that way. But if you'd recorded the screen of your phone, that would work perfectly. There's an iPhone as well. And there's a MacBook Pro. And it is the newer MacBook Pro. That's not at all bad. But you'll notice in here there's a download more option. So I will open that. Which in turn will open my browser, which it's done on the other screen. Got in there is device frames. Now you also have other categories of content. And the point with these is how many of them are free. So if I go into device frames, you should see what we saw on the slide. It's loading in the device frames and I can choose a different device frame. So that one there is different than the one I'd got. That's a creative space one. Some of these have action in the background. So that one, if you look on the left-hand side, you can see like a shadow coming in. But the others actually have people moving around. I'm trying to find the one where the people were walking around. It wasn't that one. There were definitely people moving around in one of them. No, not in the kitchen. Oh, now all the moving people are hiding from me. But never mind. Right, I shall choose one of these. Let's choose that one. I don't think my video will fit it very nicely. I could do with a Mac. Oh, well, now there you go. That's my computer. Oh, there's the fella moving as well. Right, that is my MacBook Air. It's the right colour even. Now, you've got two options here. You can open it in Camtasia or you can download the file. So I'm going to elect to download the file. Doesn't really matter. Comes up and tells you this. You've chosen to open the file. I just want to save it. It will put that in my downloads folder. In fact, it will show you it's downloading up there. And when it's finished, it will put it in my downloads folder. So let's get that out of the way. And I will open my downloads folder. There's my downloads folder. And there's the file. So it would make more sense if there was only one file. So you're not boggled with everything else that's in my downloads folder. So let me put that in there. TechSmith. I've actually got two of those. I downloaded a different one as well. Right, so there's the two that I downloaded. That's the one I've literally just downloaded. Now you can see it's got a Camtasia icon next to it. I elected to download it rather than just install it. But if I show you over here, it knows it's a device frame. It's got _df at the end. And the file format, when I double click it, it will automatically add it into Camtasia. Now, the way that they've done that, if you think about it, is very clever. They wouldn't want you to head off to TechSmith and download a device frame and then use that in another app. But now it's in here, so I can use it. So over on this side, I've now got MacBook Air Library. And all I need to do is just click on it, and it's working. And there's the guy in the background moving around. So that was the first thing, the device frames. They are now actually much more usable because there's so many that are free, and there's more still if you want to pay for them. To get me to part with £200 a year for this, you are going to have thousands of them. But these here, you need the subscription for, but you can see how many there are. So there's a lot. You know, if you do need one in particular, or you have a client who can pay for it for you, it could be worth your while. Those are the device frames. There's also other assets. There's photos, there's icons, there's audio. Their audio files are very good, actually. There's quite a few free ones. Again, all of these are free. And I think they can just be downloaded. Let's have a look if it actually puts them into Camtasia. That would be an interesting point, wouldn't it? Let's have a look what it does with it. What kind of file format is it when it's downloaded? Oh, now the good news is, so back to the TechSmith folder here. Let's bring that on. Come on. When it's downloaded it, it's just an MP3. So if you're just looking for some music, it's free. If it was in some kind of file format that was just for Camtasia, you'd be stuffed, but you're not. It's MP3. Right, if you decide you don't want your device frame, just lose the frame. Now, I'm going to have to use this file, and it's not the best file. I should have thought about this. But because I'm already recording my screen, if I try and record it again, it's going to get very upset with me. So I will use this file. It's not the best file for this, but I'll zoom in so you can see the problem. All right. I'm going to take it very slowly. There's a message on the screen. That's the first thing. So I'm going to zoom in so you can actually see that. And let's move it down a bit. Right, so what happens in this video that I'm recording is as I move across, I move my mouse over to the OK button and I click it. Then the mouse goes off to the left-hand side. No, actually it doesn't, does it? I'm lying. Hang on, I've already got that on. Right, let me take that back. So I go and I click. You see where the mouse is? The mouse is over here by the tree. Not doing a thing. I move it across to the OK button and I click it. And then the mouse goes off on mouse holiday and it wanders around on the left-hand side doing absolutely nothing. Goes up to the download button. And what I'll do is I'll move this a little bit so you can see where it ends up. There's another download button at the bottom. Right, let's move that. So mouse pointer's at the top at the moment. As I move, I zigzag my way down to the bottom. Look at that, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. And finally, I end up at the download button. And I click download, I think. So, that wasn't the best mousing I've ever seen. Right, but if you go into cursor effects, you now have this extra one. And as the icon indicates, it implies it's going to take wandering mouse syndrome and make it straight. And like I said, my attitude was I'd like to see it try. So, how you do it? You just drag and drop. And it adds a cursor effect, which you get to with that. Okay, so that's just done it. Now, there are properties that relate to the cursor smoothing. There's the duration of it, there's the delay on it, and whether it eases in and eases out, and whether you detect pauses or not. Those were the defaults, and I didn't touch them, because I thought, let's see how good this is, or not. Right, so my mouse starts there. Now, if you remember what happened before, that mouse pointer headed off over here, did a circle and went back. Okay, so we'll start with that one. And we'll zoom in to see it. It went off to the left and then it came back. But if I just play that, it moves straight to the button and gets clicked. All that meandering on the left disappears. From this point, it needs to get to the download button at the top. And it goes straight there. Remember all the meandering on the left? Gone. Then, if you remember, I zigzagged from the top down to the bottom. So let's just watch that. Now, at that point, you saw it go straight down, and it's heading straight for that download button in a straight line. So let's have a look at that again, where we're zoomed out, and you can see all of it. So it's at the top download button, and instead of going left, right, left, right, left, right, let's just play it. Wow. I did that and I said to Mike, you've got to watch this. You've got to watch this. Our life is about to be made a whole lot easier, I hope. I will report back on how that works in practice, but that demonstration there, it actually worked. I was amazed. What I expected was, as I meandered around, if I stopped the mouse, that detect pauses would make it go left, right, and just stop. Whether the pauses have to be of a certain length, I don't know. I will report back on that. But that worked so well. What I actually said to Mike was, if you're in two minds as to where you're heading next in a demo, just keep the mouse moving. Just don't stop it. Make the mouse go round in circles as you're thinking, because it'll take that away anyway. That's amazing. So they were just two features of Camtasia, which were pretty cool. So I won't save that. And what on earth were you? Oh, an Untitled. Oh, it stopped recording. Oh no! I have no idea why that happened. It's got itself giddy. That's what we've just been doing. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to press record again, get it going again, because I've got ScreenFlow running in the background. Belt and braces. Right, so let's move these out of the way and get back to where we were. Right, next one. Now, just before Christmas, you guys said, DEVONthink, tell us more about DEVONthink. And I thought that is so overdue, an update. And I needed to think about it because it's such a big topic. It's an amazing application, but it's huge what it can do. Well, DEVONthink have had a rebrand. A whole rebrand on the website. Again, that was well overdue. And a couple of days after they did that, they announced a public beta for DEVONthink 3. Huge changes here. Now, let me know in the chat if you use DEVONthink. Now, it could be DEVONthink, it could be DEVONnote, DEVONthink Personal, DEVONthink Pro, DEVONthink Pro Office. There was a whole range of them. And they were traditionally very generous, including them in Mac Heist bundles and stuff like that. I think I had about 3-4 licenses in the end. They virtually gave DEVONnote away for free. Now, I went for DEVONthink Pro Office, and my rationale was I wanted it to work with my scanner. It was my scanner that mattered to me. Another thing that we talked about in relation to DEVONthink was it importing from Evernote. It's the perfect way to back up Evernote or even move from Evernote. Now, on one level, it can be as simple as you want it to be. You could just use it like Evernote and put notes in it. But its strength lies in its ability to interrogate the data you've got in it and make links between items that you haven't even made. So it's big in education for that. But there is a few huge changes that they've made. Absolutely huge. Right, first of all, DEVONnote and DEVONthink Personal are no longer with us. They've retired those versions. So they were last updated in January, but they have now gone. DEVONthink Pro has become DEVONthink. So really, in a way, if you've been using Note or Personal, then Pro's the way to go. But the DEVONthink Pro Office version that I've got, that I bought for integration with my scanner, now has two versions of its own, DEVONthink Pro and DEVONthink Server. Now, what interested me was the DEVONthink Server it had a web interface for access to your content. So I thought, well, that'd be cool. How much is that? That wasn't good news. Okay, DEVONthink itself is $199. The upgrade is $99. But the server is $499. Yeah, probably won't be tempted with that one. I will probably upgrade. In fact, I think if you want to carry on using DEVONthink beyond Mojave, you will have to upgrade, because this version's 64-bit and the other ones aren't. So I will definitely have to upgrade to have access to my toys. So I'll probably go for Pro. I would like to have the server version, but I cannot justify that kind of cost. So the upgrade for me would be £99. They have also, up to this point, been incredibly generous with their trial. If you've ever tried it, it was 150 hours, which doesn't sound much, but it's consecutive. So if you close the program down, the clock stops ticking. You could also, the license was to you, so you could install it on as many Macs as you owned. Those days are gone, sadly. It's one computer, one seat now. So if you buy new or you upgrade, you will get 2 seats. Their rationale for that is to have it on your office Mac and a mobile computer. If you need more seats, you can add them to an existing license. So if I wanted 4, I would upgrade my license and then I would add in 2 more seats. So I'd get the original 2 seats from the upgrade and 2 more seats. Each of those extra seats would cost me $99. I'm heading up to the 400 mark to start with, aren't I? It's a bit of an issue, that, for me, I'll be honest. I do have more than 2 Macs. To me, the device needs to become transparent. I just want to pick up a device and work. And it's me. I'm not sharing it with anybody. It's me. I just have a lot of kit. So that did peeve me greatly. I think they're assuming that you'd be working with a team. I'm not working with a team. There's just me. It's just that I've got a lot of kit. Did I mention I've got a lot of kit? At least it's not subscription, which was how I consoled myself. But there is a licensing system, a management system in place where you can deactivate and then reactivate on another machine. Don't think they're going to change their mind, sadly, but yeah, I'm not happy about that. If I buy software, I don't actually want to use the phrase. I'd rather have a subscription. I'd rather not say that. But I certainly don't mind paying for the software. They haven't charged an upgrade fee, I think, since 2011. And I certainly don't mind paying for it, but I do want the flexibility of using it where I want to use it. But that's just me. Your mileage may vary. Feature-wise, well, you can see the first one that they're pushing is dark mode. But to be honest, I think one of the best new features is just what they've done to the interface. So let's go and have a look at it. Who's actually downloaded this? Who's downloaded the beta? As you can see, I've got the Pro Office version, which is the second one, and DEVONthink 3. It's running without a license of any description. It's a beta in beta mode. I have found a couple of things that I'm not sure if I need a license for, but I've literally only had it a matter of days. So who's downloaded this beta and had a look at it? Right, it's checking for updates. Please don't find an update. I definitely don't want you to do that. Right, let's get that full screen so you can see the full glory of it. Right, it also has this nice little splash screen with tutorials and stuff like that. You have the option to install and update extras automatically, the extras being clippers and things like that. I'll get rid of that. I don't think there's anything there that we actually need to have a look at. I'm already subscribed to the newsletter, and I don't really need that showing unless I want to get to these tutorials, so I'll get rid of that. Right. What is DEVONthink? Is there anybody who doesn't know what DEVONthink is? It's actually quite difficult to describe. I started using it because I wanted some way to organise files and notes, is the best way I would say it. The other killer feature for me was the integration with my scanner. So I scan straight into DEVONthink. Every piece of scanning that I do is in a database in DEVONthink called scanning. That way, so say I've scanned my driving licence because somebody wants it, right? The scan will live in DEVONthink. I will take a copy out of DEVONthink. I'll do what I need to do with it, and then I'll send it to whoever needed it. But that original scan will always be in DEVONthink. So the next time I think, somebody wants a driving licence, or, proof of your address, so they want a credit card bill or something, the gas bill. Why are the bills in my name, Mike? But something like that. It will be in here. So I can always find it. That was my main driver for it. I've never used it in relation to being a replacement for Evernote. But I know a lot of people are looking for a replacement for Evernote. Could it do it? I'd say absolutely on a desktop. But bear in mind, Evernote has access via a browser. And it has a full mobile app, whereas DEVONthink has DEVONthink to go, which while it does work, I've got mine configured, and it can synchronise, I wouldn't say it was quite as integrated yet. Now, who knows what will come with DEVONthink to go too. But this is what you've got on the desktop. I would still use it for, I'd say, heavy lifting of data. It can organise files, notes, images, you name it. It also has the most amazing clipper. So my secondary use of it is to clip web pages. Now, first off, I'll take you through the interface. This is, you're looking at your inbox. So over here, there is a file called the globals, and this is the global inbox. Now, if you've got DEVONthink 2 installed, it won't take everything out of there and put it in here. This is a new inbox, so you would need to sort that out, which is why there's nothing in here. I did a quick test, bit of a trial with it, and then took it out and started from scratch, so you get to see it as it was when you install it, and this is it. But that's where everything goes. That is your global inbox. So anything I scan into here or I clip into here, it's going to go in there. You can use tags to organise your content, and anything you delete goes into the trash, so it's a safety net before it gets deleted. Your open databases will be shown in your open databases there. So obviously at the moment, there's no open databases. What we're looking at is just the globals. It's very simple to make a new database. So let's say I say new database, and I will put this in my local documents. I'll create a new folder called DEVONthink. Oh, it's already, well, we'll put 3 then. Don't be argumentative with me. Right, and up here, I'm naming the database at this point. So if I was creating that scanning database, I'll call it scanning. You'll notice at the bottom, create Spotlight Index. That is enabled by default, and it will enable you to use Spotlight to find your files. So I will say yes to that and then create. It makes that database. That database is then in the Open Databases section, and I can unfurl it to see inside it, to see smart searches, all my images, all my PDFs, any duplicates, and so forth. Every database will have those. But what happens outside that database is completely separate in isolation. What you have at the bottom are your smart groups. Now, this thing about unread and due this week and stuff like that, all of that is new. So I'm going to whip through the rest of the interface and then go back and start from the left again. What you've got in the middle here is where your content is. So if I go and I find something like one of the pictures that I used in tonight's presentation, I'm just going to drag that in there. So that's a JPEG. I've added it into the inbox. I open that up, you can see there's one item in the inbox. Now these now say inboxes, not inbox. It's a global thing where if I wanted to put that in the inbox of the scanning file, each individual database has its own inbox, which is really clever. But I'm not putting it in the scanning, I'm putting it in my global inbox. And there's my image. And it gives me a good preview at the bottom. And it wouldn't really matter what that content was. That could be, let me get a PDF. There you go. This is a PDF that I downloaded the other day. It's only 1 page. It is a certificate for my certification update to Camtasia. I've already done my upgrade certification. There's 3 hours I'll never get back. Right, but I know all the new features. Yes, because I told them about most of them. I mustn't be sarcastic. Right, now you'll notice with that, the kind is PDF, and it says plus text. Right, that's important. I'm going to click on the image, and then I'm going to go up here. And I'll put Camtasia. And it will find it. It will find it based on the fact that the text inside the PDF is searchable. And it even gives it a heat score. And obviously, Camtasia, well, the word's directly in there, so it's red hot. But if there was other stuff that was a lot older, or it didn't have, I mean, that's got, how many times is that in it? Is it just in it the once? You know, sometimes it will make, it's got an algorithm inside it, basically, and it will make a decision as to how high up the search ranking that document should come. And the algorithm is amazing. That's where the academic use of DEVONthink is strong. Finding links between the information that you have put in it that don't have any other links. It doesn't matter what folder they're in. It doesn't matter what the file name is. The only thing that matters is the content and what DEVONthink makes of the content, finding links between it. It's very, very, very clever. So we're only literally just scratching the surface here. And it doesn't matter what file formats you want to put in there. It will pretty much take anything. So there's an audio file, which you can play. What else have we got? I won't try that one, so it's not got a zip extension, but you can see you can put virtually anything in it. Now, at the top, you've got your list of files. Down at the bottom, you've got your preview. You can change the view entirely. So you can have all your stuff as icons. You don't need to have a preview if you don't want, so you can turn the preview off. You can even have a widescreen preview. So for something like documents, A4 documents, you might decide to do that. I pretty much do that. Let me have, I must have a file here. I must do. I have, but no one's going to be interested in that one. Let me see if I've got a PDF. Why do you never have a PDF, woman, when you're looking for a PDF? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, hang on. Getting started with pCloud. That'll do nicely. Right, let's add that one in there. That one should be a nice document. There you go. So I sometimes use it in widescreen view like that. I don't have it in icon view, though. And you can see these views, the view options you have. It's not like saying icons and widescreen, or as a list with this. The view option at the top is separate from the preview option at the bottom. So I would have a widescreen preview and I would have it showing as a list. That's how I would work with it. But you could, basically you can work however you want to work with it. That's the beauty of it. Right, moving across, you've got information. And traditionally, that was the only information that you had. Now, there's a lot of information there. There's the name, any aliases, the URL of it, any paths associated, the date it was added, created, modified, the type of it, where it is, whether there's any duplicates of that file or a replicant. Now, who knows what a replicant is in DEVONthink? Mike should know this. He's looking at me completely blankly now. No?
No.
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 You mentioned it earlier when you talked to me about Google Drive, and if you've got a file in two places.
Oh, is that a replicant?
It's a replicant. It's basically the same file showing in two places, but there's only one copy of the file. So it's a pointer, like a symlink. It's even got geolocation in here. You can flag it, star it, colour code it, and all of that is metadata relating to the file that you have selected. That was pretty much where we were at. But we've now got custom data, so you can add custom metadata to it. Now, I said I was going to go back and start on the other side and come back again. And I will, because what they've done is, if you look at the very top there, instead of having one navigation panel, you've actually got extra icons that change the function of the panel on the left completely. So if I wanted to have a reading list, no reading list items, but if I did have, they would all be in there. Let's go back. Can I? You'd be a good reading list item. When I did this before, they just appeared. Was that because they were unread? Because I'm not seeing anything there to do that. Mark as unread. Now, if I go in there, Oh, you're not showing me. You were before. Could be the file type. No idea what's going on there. Haven't had enough time to play with it. But basically, across the top, there's these icons that give you a completely separate view and different functionality. If you look across on the right-hand side, you've got exactly the same thing. A whole raft of icons that add... So really, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different panels to play with than you had before. So starting over here, you've got your image capture. So scans and images, were they documents? Did they come from devices? You've got your emails. So it recognises Apple Mail. It recognises Outlook. I don't think I've ever used Apple Mail. I have used Outlook. Oh, now, it's getting all excited. But, you know, you could archive your mail in DEVONthink. Oh, what's it now? What have I done now? No, go away. I think it's trying to open up this. Let's lose that. No, not now. But it proves the point. You can get your email in it. I did used to archive my email. I'll be honest. I did used to archive it into a DEVONthink database. The whole lot by year. I wonder if I could find them and open them now. I don't know, but that's what I used to do. Right, so next one. This one's actually really useful. It's tips and support and access to articles from DEVONthink Technologies. So very useful. Right, but moving across to the right-hand side. Right, you've got your information about your item. So make sure I've got an item selected. There we go. But now you've got reminders. So you can put a reminder on a document. Now they've got to have picked that up from Evernote, because Evernote added that. They did. There's also in here a table of contents and thumbnails. Now, I do have a table of contents in this document. Doesn't look very exciting though, does it? It just says 1 and 2. All right, but what they are is the headings that are in the document. So it's pulling that from the PDF file. It can also show you thumbnails of that PDF file, which is handy, very handy. Then you've got your properties, so author, title, comments, subject, keywords, all that kind of stuff. You've got annotations in here. Now, that's a summary of the annotations that you've added to a PDF. You can put links in it. So there are links in the document that you can click in here, and they are listing them down here. So that's actually really handy. If you can imagine going through a document and thinking there was a link in here and it was so important and now I can't find it. All right. Not a problem. You can just summarize the links and find the link that way. Then we've got this. Now, this information looks horrific. You probably won't interact with this, to be honest. But this is a list of frequency of words and the weight given to words. So if we look at some of this, let's have a look by weight. Right, it's got 1 congratulations that it's given 100 to. It's got 67 instances of the word to, and it's ranked that as 97. All the way down here to what doesn't it like? Numbers. So it's ignoring if, do, well. I guess it would depend. No, it's not actually depending on the frequency. Some of these words are only 1. But this is what it bases its algorithm on. So every piece of information that you add in as an item to DEVONthink, it interrogates it in that way, and then uses that information to work out the links between the documents. So really, it's showing you, I mean, Evernote can kind of do that, sort of, but Evernote doesn't have a weighted algorithm. It's based on search, and you have to speak Evernote's language to get back every instance of a file. In here, you don't. You can be quite fuzzy with your searches. Sometimes I do a search for one thing and something else comes up, and I think, what have you pulled that in for? I'm looking for beans, and you've put, oh, right, that makes sense. And it will make sense, but you'll have forgotten there was any kind of reference to something in it. It is amazing. It's amazing, and that's how it does it. This is your word cloud. So you can see there the word pCloud used a lot, share, your. So that's your word cloud. You can click on that and it shows you, it highlights all of the instances of the word. So if you're looking for upload, and it actually will take you through it and you can navigate by it as well. There's even a graph. This is overkill, isn't it? But that's how it works. That's how it works. Then we've got your groups and your documents. So I've only got a couple in here, but you will, if you've got groups, you will see your groups, and you'll get like a structural diagram of your database. Your DEVONthink database is what you'll see in there. And then, of course, you can do your searches and your replaces and all of that over there. So that's literally just the interface. A couple of highlights of new features. One's my favourite. I like this. But it's one of those features it demos fabulously. Would I ever use it? Not sure. But what I did was I went into Tools, Imprinter, and nothing happened. And I thought, what's going on? Because that looks like a cool feature. Right, if you try doing that, you won't get anywhere. But if you go into your DEVONthink preferences, so these are my DEVONthink preferences, and there's a whole raft of them. The imprinter is one of them, third from the right. You will need to go in here first and configure an imprint. So I defined the font as being stencil standard, in bold, 120 points, red. No border. And then I typed the word scan. And that was enough. That will give me a stamp on my documents that says scan. I can click on preview. That's what it's going to look like. So it's creating a stamp, really. They're calling it the imprinter. You can change the location of it. I wanted it bang in the middle, but if you want it in the top corner, bottom corner, right-hand side, left-hand side, you do it in there. You can even set an offset. And of course, I set the rotation to -45 to rotate it. Then you determine where you want it. So odd pages, even pages, every page, wherever you want it. Now, I just said all and then came out of it and then tried it. So I am going here. Where have you disappeared to? No, I don't want to. I want to change the view so we can view 100%. And that used to be there, but I'm not seeing it now. Let's go in here. Right, zoom out. Can we see? Yeah, single page continuous. Yeah, but you're not showing me a single page, are you? You're lying to me. I'm not seeing the bottom of that page. Let's zoom out a bit then. I really want us to see the whole thing. That's better. Now we can see the whole page. Right, so back up to Tools, down to Imprinter, and click on Scan. Scan being the name that I gave to the imprint. And there it is. Can't really see me using that one, to be honest. But, you know, like if it's a draft version 1, it's very, very simple to do that now. I was actually thinking, could PDF Expert do that? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I do have applications that can do that, but probably not as fast as that. You can also, with your documents in here, if you look at that tiny little icon there, show the editing bar. When I click on that, you get an entire editing suite of tools. So if I wanted to, in there, put a comment on it, so I can put text in my comments. I determine what the colour is, what the fill colour is, etc. and whether I put a link in it, what kind of icon I have. So if I'm putting in that that's a help section, that should change to help. Come away. No, you're not, are you? And you should be opening when I click you. But let's add some text. Let's put some text up there. That should be appearing as well. I'm wondering why it's not. Ooh, naughty, naughty. Should I try doing it again? Help section. That's better. Help section. There you go. And you can change the colour of that and anything you need to do. So let's choose that red down there. Doesn't look like it's red. Is there a yes button on it? I'm not getting very far here at all, am I? Why are you not changing to red? That's better. Now it's changed to red. Obviously having a moment. It's a beta. I'm crazy. Demonstrating beta software. But you get the idea. You can put links in, you can put shapes in, you can annotate. One of the things I do a lot when I do scans is rotate pages. So if I wanted that page rotating, I can do. And I choose to do that in here because it's by far the easiest way to do it. So DEVONthink is a fantastic piece of kit. There's so much more it can do. You asked about DEVONthink. I will do DEVONthink, but I need time to think how I'm going to do this. Can I squeeze this into a full hour? I might have to do it over 2 hours because there's that much to do. And setting it up to synchronise and all kind of things. So what you need to do is let me know what you want to know about DEVONthink or what it is you want to do with DEVONthink. And then that'll give me some pointers as to what content to put in it. But right now, given the price, especially if you've never bought it before, that's a huge investment. Go and download the beta and try it because it's going to be free until it comes out and you can really give it a good test. After that, you're going to be limited to the trial until you buy. Luckily, if you've got any kind of anything to upgrade from, then you qualify for the upgrade price, which is the good news. That's going to keep my bill down slightly this month. You can actually buy it straight away if you want. I didn't because I thought to myself, oh, I'll have a look at that server version. And then I found the price and thought, no, you probably won't. But I haven't actually bought it yet. So this is the beta version that I'm running in it. It is an amazingly powerful piece of kit. I haven't even scratched the surface. I've shown you the interface and a couple of tricks. There is so much more to it. I use it to rename files as well. There's scripts in here. You can, let's go down to the scanning folder. Let's imagine this is not the scanning database. Let's imagine that I want, who's heard of 43 folders? 43 folders is productivity methodology. And if you go up to your scripts, they used to have in here template things. Let me see if they're still there. Or have they moved them? I think they've moved them. Can I go into here? New. Now I'm looking for it. This isn't good. Oh, where did it go? There you go. New from template. That's where they were. It ships with all these templates and you can create your own templates. So if you wanted to keep your passwords in it, you're probably using one password. But these are things, bibliographies. I mentioned education. Classifications. Contacts, lots for education. Registers, including 1 to 31, A to Z, days of the week and the month. So, for that 43 folders, you would make a register for 1 to 31. You can open that in the sidebar there and then navigate day to day. So if you were using this as a tickler file, you could use, it's your digital tickler file. You can put the contents in there. And then when the 8th comes around, so it's what, tomorrow, the 4th. So let's say I've got some actionable items in the 4th. I click on the 4th, I action the items. And then if I've got any more for the 4th, then they go into, into the next month, etc. Now, somebody's passed a comment there. Tried 43 folders with 43 cardboard folders. Those were the days. Do you know, I think I did that. And I think the problem was, it was the shuffling of stuff that got on my nerves. If you were out for a couple of days and you'd put stuff in those folders, it was like, oh, well, I'll put them in the next day. And before you knew it, one day you were just rolling everything forward. But it might work digitally. Let's leave it at that. It might work digitally. I don't use folders for that. What I do is in Notion, my adored Notion. In Notion, I do have months. And I put in the months the important things that happened on the days. So I can look back in Notion, and I do have 1 to 31. Have 12 pages, 1 to 31 on each page, and then the important things next to it. Because if I've made some notes, I'm sure we discussed this in episode 1, 2 or 3, one of the very early ones, but if something's happened on a day, like I've rung Orange and I've lost the plot with them, which is quite common, EE they're called now, and I've got the notes from that, where do you put them? And if you start thinking to yourself, oh, I'll file them under Orange, and then of course they change their name, and now I've got another folder for EE. It's actually easier to think, do you know what, you rang up last year to argue about the price of that. look back to last May, look down to the 4th, click on the page. Oh, look, there's the notes. And that's how I do it. And of course, you can run a search on it. But in a way, it is a kind of 43 folders implementation. I've taken what I learnt from that and I've put it somewhere else. Right. 3 years, Graham, and you can't make your mind up. No, I can understand that because each one's got very distinctive strengths. Evernote has an amazing clipper. DEVONthink has a great clipper. I can actually show you the clipper. The clipper's changed. So when it comes to getting information in it, it's pretty amazing. You know, on the desktop, you can attach it to your scanner, but then you can do that as long as you've got the right scanner into Evernote. And then when you're out, you've got your camera phone. And you can scan into Evernote from that. And Evernote works on Android, and this doesn't. And the version on iOS is nowhere near as fully fledged as this because it just can't be. So I can understand running them side by side. It's the same reason I've still got Dropbox sat there, isn't it? And I've got stuff synchronizing via Dropbox. And I know that I can't do that going forward because I can't make do with 3 devices and I don't need 2 more terabytes of data. Not the price they charge for it. But at the moment, I have to run them side by side because I haven't got round to moving them. And sometimes moving from one system to another, no matter what that system is, the fallout from it can be catastrophic. So I understand that, Graham. But, 3 years, you might need to be making a decision. Maybe this will push you over the edge, and particularly if they bring out a better version of DEVONthink to go. You never know. This is very, very good. I wouldn't want to live without it, put it like that. Right, let me get Chrome back and let me come over here. Right, I do have the DEVONthink. Let's get one of my blog posts. I do have the DEVONthink clipper installed. And I didn't do anything magic with it, as I recall. So let's go get an article. There we go, other stuff. That's got text in it and lots of pictures and stuff. Oh, all my iPads. Oh, there they are. Some missing. That was written months ago and I've got another one since then. You see that empty slot there? It's now got an iPad in it. And there's an empty slot there as well, but I think that one's full now as well. So I've got all of that. Oh, there's Ollie. He's coming in a fortnight. He'll be on the show. Right, so I've got a lot of text in there and I want to clip that into DEVONthink. Now, my Chrome is incredibly clean. I cannot be doing with all those icons that push the URL bar back to the left. Can't be doing with it. The only one that's there is me because I can't get rid of it. All of the rest are hidden in here. All of these. And one of them, where are you, is the DEVONthink one. So click to DEVONthink. I also have that running from a shortcut. So if I just click that shortcut, are you going to have a think about it? You are. Now, lots of things flashed. And something may have happened. It did. If we look down here at my inbox, I should have, or did it go into scanning? Did you go into scanning? Scanning inbox. Let's have a look. Where did you go? Where did you go? You're not appearing. Oh, maybe it's not in the best frame of mind. I'll give that another go. Right, I have programmed it to stop. No, by default it stops and it expects me to fill in a load of stuff. And when I'm in the zone where I want to just clip, 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 I don't want it to stop. So I programmed it so it didn't stop. But I programmed it for the old version, so heaven knows what's happening now. But if I use the icon in here, where did you go? It will stop. Now you'll notice it's in the toolbar now. Didn't used to be a floating thing. And when I'm with my 3 monitors, I could never find it. It opened randomly on any monitor it felt like, in any location it felt like. I like the fact that I can now see it, I know where it is, and I can do whatever I need to do with it up there. So I might recode that now, not have it doing that. But what you've got in here is that will take you home. You can take a note, you can make a voice note, you can do a video note, you can do a screen capture and have it automatically saved to DEVONthink, or you can do a web clip. Now, obviously at the moment, you can see that web clip is highlighted and that's what it's going to do. It's picked up the name from the name of the blog post. You can edit that if you want, so I'll get rid of that at the end. You can put a note in about it if you like. So put in there, This was about live streaming. Then there's the URL. You can then put information attached to that if you want. So you could flag it, you could star it, info, you could change all of this. So let's mark that as work. Anything you need to do. You can even lock it if you want, all from in here. The most important thing is the format though. When you save this, what format do you want it? And these are all the formats you've got available. Now, I can tell you from experience, what looks best in terms of fidelity to what you're looking at tends to be the one-page PDF, because it locks it up nicely and it just scrolls and scrolls and scrolls. You don't get any dodgy pagination because it will just scroll. I can then take out of that screenshots if I want. I can copy the text out of it. So 9 times out of 10, I do go for a PDF one page. It now has a clutter-free option. Now, they added that about 6 to 8 months ago. And it does make a very nice job of it. But sometimes you might lose a little bit too much. But it doesn't do a bad job. I'll do one in a minute and you can see that. But having set up that information, click add. And technically speaking, that should appear in my inbox. If it doesn't, I'm going to get incredibly worried as to why it's not. Because it did yesterday. Ah, there we go. So what I've got there is high fidelity to the original. It's got all the navigation in it. It actually looks exactly like the blog post. So if it's fidelity I'm after, that's the way to go. It's even got the comment stuff at the bottom. But if what you're looking at is mainly an article and what you're interested in is not all the adverts that you see on it, it's just the text of it, then you can do that as well. So let's go back to there and do a capture again, but this time I will do clutter-free. Now what are you doing? I don't want to download anything. What are you doing? Right, clutter-free, like I said. And we'll add that one. That should appear at the top. I didn't set anything else on that one. So there it is, clutter-free. That's probably better. Only the wrapping's off on that. This is the problem with it. That's why I tend to go for just a PDF. But you can get very, very good captures. In there, like I said, you can copy that and paste it into whatever you need to do. On that first one that we did, we've got our information over here. You can see these set. There's the colour set, the 5 stars. It's locked. It's got a mark on it with the flag, etc. There's nothing custom in there, but it does have comments. So those comments that I added will be added as Finder comments, and that's where it puts them. And that's what these little tiny symbols, ever so tiny symbols, mean at the top there. So in terms of capturing, it's every bit as good as Evernote, but not on mobile. You can send stuff to DEVONthink on mobile, but I've found it's not as good as it is on the desktop. Nowhere near. Right, so let's have a look what you're saying. The upgrade from Personal to Pro was about the same as a year's sub to Evernote. Yeah, it probably was. My Evernote's due. But I've got so many notes in there, I've got to make a decision whether I'm going to carry on using it. I do use it. I clip to it as text, basically. But I've never got around to sorting out the 9,800 notes I've got in it. I have imported the whole lot into a DEVONthink database and had a look at it. And I thought it needed a few more months to be more polished. If and when it does that, I'll probably seriously think about ditching it. Do you remember when we all used to try new services willy-nilly? And now we're like, yeah, I need to consolidate all these services down to preferably one. That's where I'm at. So that was DEVONthink. So let's get all of that out of the way. We will be returning to DEVONthink. Oh, now the mail app's open as well. Down the line, we will, but I need you to tell me what you're doing with it, what you would like to do with it. Give me ideas for what you want to do with it, and then I can tell you if it can do it. Can't say fairer than that, can I? Right. Unboxing. I have something to unbox. It's been sat here for about 3 weeks.
Paul's asked when DEVONthink 3 got released.
DEVONthink 3 it's not released, it's in beta, and it came out about 8 days ago. Something like that. It's definitely worth trying though.
Somebody's asking about...
I've got a question here. Pretty close to development. Do you know if they're in news or publisher for iOS? Ooh, publisher for iOS. I have no insider information on it, but they have already said publicly about July, August time last year that that's their intention, but they never commit to a time frame. What they have said about publisher is they expected it to be released, version 1, many, many months ago. When it was first released, they faced a lot of criticism. Mainly, you can imagine, it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that, and that's my pet feature. Now, I tried it and thought, there's no links. I can't export a PDF with links. Oh dear. And I sort of said, is this on the agenda at any point? But I didn't moan and whine like a lot of people did. But a lot of people moaned and whined about their pet feature. And they took the decision that they would go into long beta with it. So when it was finally released version 1, it would be much more fully featured. Some of the stuff that they've added in all of the links. They've added in regex. So the work that they've been doing during that beta period has been extensive. And I think the problem with that is, if it's the iOS version that you are desperate for, is that it's going to push that back. I wouldn't expect to see that until WWDC next year at the earliest. Seriously, at the earliest, because this is nowhere near release yet. The one they've got. The features they've added, like the links, are great, but they've said the interface is pretty ropey with it. It works, but it's not the polished interface they'd like. So it's taking longer, unfortunately. What I'm doing on iOS for layout, if I can get away with it, I use Keynote. Keynote, I live in it for stuff like that. In fact, I started a job at Christmas in Affinity Publisher, and it looked great. It did. It looked great. And as time went on, I said to Mike about 2 weeks ago, I'm thinking of taking this out of Publisher and putting it in Keynote. He's like, what? And the reason that I did that was not because there was anything wrong with Publisher, but the content of the document, it was an A4 magazine, for want of a better description. The content that was in it started to be needed in other formats. I needed images at 1280 by 720 to put in a video. I needed a little bit of audio to go with it. I needed this, I needed that. And then I thought, well, now I've got that video finished, where do I put that video? It didn't belong in a print document. So I actually used Keynote, not just for presentations like you're looking at right now, but I actually have files in there that I turn into videos. Can I actually show you one? Let me come out of that. Let me go get a file. It's in here somewhere. Keynote, where are you? Oh no, I need to come out of Keynote properly if we're going to do that, don't I? Let me open you up this file. We've got something coming up. There it is. We've got something coming up. We run a local group, and that's what this file's about. And we've got an event coming up, which is an Italian night. So we had a poster inside this file that was in Publisher, and it made total sense. In fact, I could probably show you that, couldn't I? But never mind. I had to take it out because of the need for other media, and increasingly that's happening to me. So this is what it actually looks like. Instead of Publisher, instead of A4, it looks like that. That's a slide. It's 1280 by 720. Eventually, this will get exported as images. I've got 2 different save the dates there. I'm playing around with fonts. I should actually ask you guys, do the numbers and the text look like they match? Because the font that I adore, which is the top one's got no numbers in it. So I've had to make do with another one. So that's why there's 2 of them. But this is what I put in there. And then that turns into a video, which I can't do from Publisher. But it's not. If it was printed, I'd be in Publisher. But if it's not, then I'm in here, and that's what it looks like. What else have I got in there? Basically, I've done it as posters. We've got another one coming up, haven't we? We have got. This is very much a work in progress. You're getting a sneak peek here. This is very much a work in progress. We have a gourmet ice cream picnic coming up, also at the Vinery. If you are in the area, the Vinery is amazing. But because it's a picnic, it is an ice cream picnic, but I thought that ice cream was a bit wishy-washy. So I did that one. Then I realised you couldn't read the address, so I moved the address. This is real behind the scenes. This is how it develops. And then I thought we're going to need some text where you can actually see the picnic. And then I got more ambitious as well. So those are the kind of things that I do. And that did start life in Publisher. It didn't end life in Publisher, and that's why. But yes, apparently they are bringing it. They are also, I don't know if you are aware, they are also working on, they're not using this term, but I will, because it's a shorthand and you'll understand what I mean, a Lightroom replacement. They're calling it an asset manager. Everybody else is saying, oh, a Lightroom replacement. They are working on that actively. No imminent release date, no long-term release date, but that's their next app. When they've sorted Publisher out and they've got Publisher on iOS, they are actively working on an asset management app. Thank you, Graham. It was the nearest I could get. I couldn't believe it. We found the perfect font. It's called Australia, and it was absolutely perfect for what we wanted, and then there was no numbers. Top font look bolder. It did, and I think I need to make the numbers a little bit bolder, and I'm not sure if they don't need to be a little bit bigger. But it's an absolute nightmare because they're in the same text block. So what I might have to do is use 3 text blocks for the date and then move them around so they kind of match. So that's where I'm at with that one. But we have an unboxing, don't we? We do. You can find this box. As I said, it's been kicking around for a while. This is part of the reason why I've moved what you've just seen, that's very much a work in progress, into Keynote. This is why. So let me get the box. Oh, I should show them that while we're at it. Strictly limited edition, that. I'll put that on the table.
Signed by the artist.
Signed by the artist. Okay, there we go. We have a box. You need to see said box. I'll make sure this time you do get to see said box, unlike last time where you didn't. Because I forgot to share the video. Right, I'm not going to do that now. There we go. There's the video. Mike's still talking, so he's still there. There he is. And there. Right, behind it. Ooh, look behind it. Yes. Strictly limited edition artwork from MacBites. We've been playing around. We have too much time on our hands, don't we? That's another reason that we need artwork in a particular size. So that's our last podcast. But there is another one coming soon. Yes, I know it's overdue. It'll be here soon. So that was one thing. Now you've seen that, you should have a big clue as to what's here in this big box. Almighty big box. Let's move that back so you can see it. There we go. Let's get rid of said iPad because you're seeing that in stereo. Right. Who's got a clue, given what you've just seen? I hope that is what's in this box. This one wasn't unceremoniously thrown over the fence, though. Luckily. I would use my nails, but there'd only be a catastrophe if I did. Right, let's open that. Any guesses? Before it opens. Ooh. Oh, no, you can't see anything. There we go. Still chance for a guess. Still chance for a guess. We were playing around with the what you've just seen when I came up with an idea, and that's what this is.
You think? You think?
I think that's what he did. I should have a quick look, shouldn't I? Yes, it is, thankfully. Anybody who was here last time will know what I mean. There's a lot of stuff arrives here. Look, packaging. No one's had a guess. No one has had a guess. I'll just show you. Let's get rid of all of this.
I say that.
There we go. Let's get rid of that one.
It's a Ferrari.
I bought a Ferrari. No. It is a digital photo frame. There we go. Plan being, all those slides you've just seen about going to the Italian and all of that, we're going to take this out to the meetings that we go to, and we're going to have the thing playing, which we thought was better than doing a printout at A4, etc. So horses for courses in terms of that. I haven't even opened it yet. Let's have a look. I have had a digital photo frame before. It was many moons ago. It was about 5 inches by 3 inches. This one, oh, it was on offer. Can't remember the price. But let's have a look at it. There was white. I decided to go for black. Thought it would showcase stuff better. So let's have a look. Oh, all the garbage and detritus. And there it is. Oh, it's like unboxing my monitor. There we go. So pretty skinny. Pretty skinny. It's a bit like that one of yours. That USB one. But there is a block on the back that I think it hangs off a wall with if you want. I have no idea if I'll be able to get it working or not instantly. But that's the size of it. That's quite nice. Just a cheap and cheerful one. Wasn't spending a fortune on the darn thing. There is protective thing on the front, which I won't take off yet. That's the front of it. There we go. Oh, look. If I move that round a bit, there's Mike. So that's the front of it. I presume that's the on-off switch. It's not too bad, is it, in terms of bulk? Not when I consider the old one that I had. There should be some kind of stand with this. I'm hoping that's what's in the detritus box. Let's find out. They did not die in the 90s. I've only just discovered them. Oh, come on. Right. Oh, look, remotes and everything. What on earth is that? Is that the stand? Or she just loved me?
Yes, of course.
It is, that's the stand. Okay, so that clips on there.
It's a cookie cutter.
Oh, you could, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, biscuits.
Yeah.
MacBites flapjack. Does this go a particular way round or doesn't it matter? Which way round should that go? Oh, don't make these things difficult for me, honestly. That doesn't even feel like it's going in. It was before. Right, let's try that. Which way around? Oh, it looks like it's that way. Oh, how bizarre. Right, let's see that stood up then. Oh, yeah, that works. That works. That's quite neat and tidy. Right, so here we have all the ports. So there's a USB port. There's an SD card. What else have we got? Let me see it. Power. I have no idea what that is. There's something sticking out of it. I hope it's an on-off switch. And a USB thing there as well at the top. So that's what we've got there. Let's have a look what else is in the magic box. I'm hoping power. Power. Looks like that's it. So power cable. All in one. Hope it's long. I hope it's long. Should we turn it on?
Why not?
Have you got anything on a pen drive? Stick some MacBites artwork on a pen drive while you sat there doing nothing, Mike. Where am I going to get that from?
No, I'm thinking about where my pen drive is.
I've got a pen drive.
Hang on, I've got one here.
Oh, you must have a pen drive. Come on, man.
I've got that one.
Do you know we have the most...
It says pen drive on it, just in case I didn't know.
That is 512 meg. Good luck getting some pictures on it. We have interesting stuff just kicking around, you know. There's another one. Yeah, that arrived at some point. Right, so let's get this plugged in.
I'll try this one because I don't know where my others are.
You can't try that one, Mike. There's no way it's going to go in there. It's too chunky to go in there. Is it a pen drive? You talk about challenged. Have you got a card? Is there a black zippy thing over there with cards in? Right, oh, that goes in there. That's tight.
I've got pen drives because we used to put one.
Right, can we find some power for that somewhere? Might need to bring the one in that's from next door.
It's got the thing plugged.
You will unplug it. Sorry, instructions. Should I bother? No. Let's not. It'll probably tell me to take that off though, won't it? Don't know if this has even got batteries in it. Yes, it has. It's got a pull-out thing. So, pulled out. Excellent. Right, I wonder if that'll turn it on. That'd probably be a good idea if it was turned on at the back, wouldn't it? Have you got one? Right, plug that in, then plug that one in there. And we still haven't got a pen drive. I'm still scratching round now for a pen drive. Do you know, I have to get plenty of these though, isn't there? SSDs. Boxes of them. My pen drive was 32 gig. You had a much smaller one, but is it skinny enough? There was a card case. A black zippy card case over there.
Here.
Aha! Right. Black zippy card case. Inside said black zippy card case, cards. Must be a 32 gig one. Right, but there's not going to have anything on them, are they? This is challenging, Mike. Why didn't we think of this when we thought of showcasing this?
Here's a card.
What's it got on it? Not
Must
a
be
clue.
No, that's my spare micro SD card.
Well, there's not going to be anything on it, is there? And it probably won't read more than 32. Now, I've got a 32. All of these are 32.
It's made in China.
Talk about challenged. Right, I've got a card, but then there wouldn't be anything on it.
No,
would
this
there?
is the 200 gig one.
Well, it's not going to read it, Mike. It needs to be 32. That's just an empty card. Oh, I am being challenged here. Great. Oh, hang on. What's that? What's that? There's a 2 gig one. Right. Over there. There's a card. If I eject it, just a minute. Hang on. How big's that one? Oh! Can I use that one? I would bring this across. Ah, there we go. Right, I've got this one, which is the card out of my H4. So, if I went to my drive, how about a behind-the-scenes peek at MacBites? MacBites. Artwork. Show art. I should make you pick a number.
27.
No, we haven't got one for that. We've got from 67 to 120 and a couple of odd ones.
68.
68. Oh, rubber ducks. There you go.
And shifty cows.
No, that one was just rubber ducks. Rampant koi.
Oh, rampant koi.
Right. So I shall take a copy of that and put it on there. I have no idea if it's going to read this, you know. Let's pick another one. Oh, Kidnapping Craig's Cat. There's Kidnapping Craig's Cat. That was 100. I remember that one. I wasn't happy with what he'd announced. That's why
I
we
want an SSD. If we're breeding them.
I am breeding them. I am. All right, what else shall we have? Graham's. Was Graham's 108? I think it was. That was your shifty cows. Graham's shifty cows. So let's put that on. Right, so I should have 3 items on there. Now we'll see if it works. So I'll eject that, Mike. It's gone. So if you give me that, we can get that installed on here.
Just the card.
It doesn't matter, but just take the card. Right, just the card. There's the card. Card. No, it's a bit dark, that. Lighting, extra lighting coming into play. That's extra lighting. Right, can you just put your finger on the top of that so it doesn't fall over? I need to know which way around that goes. Clearly not that way. I'm wondering if that even fits at all. Oh, I'm going to have to resort to reading the manual at this rate. Oh no, hang on. Oh, that doesn't feel right at all. Let me try it the other way up again. I'm wondering if it's even the right format. Crying out loud. That is not going to go in there. Which way round does that go? Surely it goes in that way. See the... It looks like it goes in that way.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. You don't like forcing it in, do you? I think that could be it. Maybe it doesn't go in all the way. Right, so we got power.
Yeah.
Right, let's turn that off and let's see if we can get it turned on. probably have to do some magic at the back, don't I? I just don't want to read the manual.
Graham's got a grinning goat somewhere to go with his shifty cow.
You do. Oh, action! I have no idea what this will do now.
There you go.
Way! I didn't need to do a thing! Fabulous! Oh, I'm loving that. That's bang on the right size.
Move on? Oh, it just moves on.
It just does it itself. Oh, that's amazing. When I finish my presentation for the local group, I shall put that on there. That's amazing. I didn't need to do a darn thing. Nor did I need to read the instruction book. Loving it. Oh, that's fabulous. So, one thing we'll do is put that presentation on it. The other thing, I'll export it as graphics, obviously, but the other thing we'll do is I will put all of the MacBites posters on here and have them. Everybody needs one of these, don't they? So my first thought was that, and then my second one was, good grief, woman, you're digital. But no, that's great. I'm loving that. Who is instantly going to go out and buy one of those and do exactly that with it? And if you all say no, I'm not going to be happy. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm loving that. The lighting could be better so you can see it. Let me tilt it down a bit. That won't do any good.
Put thingy on.
What?
The circle.
That's from the back.
Oh.
That's not too bad. It's when it changes, it tries to rearrange itself and then it gets confused, doesn't it? But I'm loving that. That's fabulous. Oh, we have great fun here. Does it play video? Yes, it does. It does video. It's got music on it. So the idea is that when I said about that document, this was part of the reason that it would have been better taken into Keynote and done digitally. It's great to be able to print stuff out. And to be honest, they're not that techie, are they?
No.
But we worked on the principle, and this would enable us to keep it up to date current, whereas the other one, you'd have to put out addendums. And it would be a talking point. They'd be wandering in thinking, what's that? Then when I checked it, and yes, it does do video, then there's a speaker on it and it'll do sound. That was just amazing. So it doesn't matter whether we do it as video or stills or whatever. And you could actually do it on the day, just put it on the card and sling it in there. So it's very, very flexible. I'm trying to think how much that was. It wasn't expensive. It was a daily deal. And I just thought it was probably worth a try. And I figured the black one rather than the white, because I expected there to be a black line at the top. And you can see there is a black line at the top and bottom when it changes to Craig's cat. But not that much that I'd bother redoing the size. Because with it being black, you hardly notice anyway. Loving that. Absolutely loving that. So that was the unboxing of the week. What I'll do in the week is I'll get some video on it and I'll try it. And we might revisit that. Graham's just posted the goat. Now I need to go and see the goats. Oh, my machine crashed, didn't it? So I've not got Twitter running. So give me 1 second. Looking for the keyboard. Right. This is how I run Twitter. 3 and 7. That's it. Twitter's running, or it will be in a second.
There it is.
Right,
there's the goat.
I need Graham's goat.
I've got Graham's goat.
Whee. Oh no! What are you doing with him? Is he next door to you, Graham? He's adorable. I'm loving the look on his face. He's like, "What? There's a new MacBites out." And which side's he on? Is he on the same side as the one where the wall fell down? That was the shock of a new MacBites, I seem to recall. Yes, you can export a Keynote as an MP4 and show it in an exhibition stand. That's kind of what we're doing. I won't probably export it straight from Keynote as an MP4, though. We talked about that. When you're in Keynote and you come to export it, you've not got much in the way of options. Let me move that there and show you. Gone. Where's the other half of that gone? Right, let's whip that out and let's get Keynote back. What I do with it, export them as TIFFs, which is the best quality to export, and then take them somewhere onto a timeline. You'll do. You will do. So that's just a Keynote file. If you go into the Export To and choose Movie, you have these options. Now, we discussed it from a perspective of quality and transparency. So although 720 is good, you might want to go for 1080. But the best quality of all is in the custom, and it's... Do we do 422 or 444? Either way, one of these. The thing was, it defaults to 1020 by 768, and these slides are 1280 by 720. So I needed to go in there as well and do that. But even though you've got all of that those flexible options, it's not that flexible, because if you look here, go to the next slide after 5 seconds and go to the next build after 2. What these are talking about is transitions between the slides and animations on the slides. Now, some slides, if you think back to the Italian one that we looked at, some of those slides just said Italian night, the vinery. They don't need to be on screen a long time. But some of the others, did I close that file? I did. Let me open it up. Social program. Right. Vinery. That one there. So if we just look at that one, that needs to be on screen for a lot longer. And you cannot do that from Keynote. If you think about going through these, they literally don't have to be on screen that long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds would be enough. 5 seconds is enough. 5. That needs more than 5. If you don't leave that more than 5, people will be annoyed. They'll get as far as mozzarella and that'll be it. So that probably needs to be on screen for sort of 10 or 15 even. So the problem with that is, when you look in here, you can't do anything about that. Not without a lot of fiddling. So instead of that, I go for export as images, all, change that to TIFF, take them out, and then take them onto the timeline of any application that can do that, to be honest. And that works great, and that's what I'll be doing with it. So I can actually show you me doing that when I've finished it, if you like. Right, where am I looking now? Special project, Graham. He doesn't live next door. That's a relief, given his face. But I do think he should have a starring moment on MacBites, to be honest. I just love that face. Now, Ollie won't be with us next time, will he? He'll be with us the time after that. Yes, he will.
Yeah.
So you've got one more week with Mike and I, with no Ollie, and then Ollie's coming back. Who was here last time Ollie was here? Ollie's adorable. He's such a good dog. He's such a good dog. Actually, you know what we need to do, don't you? Next time, I'll show you a picture of Mike with 2 lovely ladies. I'm getting the evil again.
You mean orange?
Yes.
And the other one?
Yes. Purple?
Could be.
Could be. They all work by numbers. So when are we back?
You mean colours?
Yes, that's
Painting
what I mean.
by numbers.
Hang on. There we go. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons here. Right, I'm making myself look inept. Okay, we are back on a Saturday. You know, we can have fun when it's not the end of the week and I'm exhausted, which I was tonight. We can have a lot more fun. So Saturday, the 11th. So you've got an extra day to recover. But don't forget what you need to do. You need to let me know about DEVONthink, because it's a huge topic. There's no point me banging on about importing Evernote stuff and email if none of you are interested in that in the slightest. So you need to let me know what you would like to do with it, what app you're trying to replace with it, what features of the app that you're using now would you be interested in knowing if DEVONthink is better at. That kind of stuff. That's what you need to tell me. So make sure that you tell me that during the week. We'll probably, with DEVONthink, instead of squeezing it into an after hours in between our unboxings and joy, we'll probably put that on as a MacBites Learning event, a full event. But I need to know what you need to know before I start prepping it and tell you things you don't need to know. Good night, Carl. Good to have you with us. So that's when we're back. For the moment, I would say we're going to go and have something to eat. But I must admit, came over a little bit tired earlier, and I ate my fruit salad.
There's a few grapes left.
So I've got a few grapes and that's it.
A couple of strawberries.
And a couple of strawberries.
And an apple.
You need to buy more food. It's as simple as that. Yes. Because we have a ritual here. All our food's fresh. And we like to empty the fridge totally every week, don't we? Mm. We're not one of those who has a fridge that's burgeoning at the seams. We like to take it down to completely empty and clean it. And unfortunately, on a Friday, that means sometimes we're a little bit sparse on food. And unfortunately, that's happened today. But hopefully you'll be out bright.
The cake shop's not open.
And the cake shop's not open either, although we do have some rather nice pictures of that. And we will be heading there over the weekend. Let's just say that. So yes, at the moment, all I've got is a couple of grapes and a strawberry. Sophisticated file management. Ooh, that's a good one. I think I put files into it originally, and I remember thinking to myself, good night, Charles. I remember thinking to myself, is this a good idea or not? Because it's not in the file system. But it did work very well for the stuff that I did it with, which was like project-based. I think we're spoilt these days. There's so many different ways to do something. You spend half your time thinking what's the best way to do it. And sometimes the best way to do it for one thing is not the best way to do it for another. I will add that to the list, Deborah. I absolutely will. But for now, I'm going to go off and have something small to eat. Have we got some nuts, though?
We've got some.
My favourite cashew nuts. I'll have some cashew nuts then. And we'll share some pictures of other things.
Right.
But for the moment, it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
And you can actually hear him tonight. And we will
I've got my very own microphone.
You have your very own toy. And we'll both
See you next time.
Good night, guys. Great to be with you tonight.